You talk about, and you've touched on this a number of times, networking should serve the people,
Mm,
not the other way around. And you've just spoken and shared with
mm,
us how you sort of help teach and share and encourage people to bring and continue the culture that you've developed within your network. How are you helping the network serve the people when you've got
mm.
people in that community now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good
Because I
question.
see it
So
happen, and I know it happens because I know a number of people from within your community. So
good.
I've seen it first, I've seen it and felt it firsthand. So yeah, just love your insight on, networking should serve the people, not the other way around.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, look, I like one of my values is that business is about people, not about money. And and I hear way too often people say, "Oh, we're all here to make money," and it's like, well, do you know what? When you've
Not
made 140k New Zealand a year, you're actually your quality of life ain't going to go up. So you're not here to make money necessarily. Most of our members are not there for money per se.
mm,
Like, yes, there's a bit of that, but they've probably all of them are entrepreneurs or work for themselves. They've chosen a job that has some level of resonance within them that means they're at least expressing their genius and helping people in a way that resonates with them.
it's a
So
question.
bearing that in yeah, so bearing that in mind, it's like you've already positioned yourself to help people more than you know. And so so with that in mind and that principle philosophy of business is about serving people, not just creating money, it's like in a minute money could disappear. And I mean that literally, as in a minute there could be irrevocable changes to how we exchange value. Currency is possibly at end of life. That is really possible right now.
Mm, mm.
So will we? If money isn't even the same thing anymore, why are we only working for that? Is a fair question, in my opinion. It's so abstract, but what we're really working for is to create value exchanges that make our lives easier, something like that, right? So, with that in mind, it's like it's a good way to position your mind in business, and it certainly I feel is what's helped me in terms of how do I set up Now Group in a way that provides value. So with that in mind, we then looked at, I also have a bit of an esoteric side, and I believe in mirrored value exchanges. So if you want someone to come in and be trustworthy, be trustworthy. If you want someone to come in and add value, plan to add value. Like give yourself the best chance by creating a mirror, and that's this. I can go into the mirror neurons, FP7 regions, and all kinds of neurological bits and bobs as to why that will work, or we could just trust that it kind of works
Mm.
and play that game. Now, with all that in mind, um, I decided as a leader and as a culture, if the company or if the entity Now Group, really the people, me and my team, as we grow, my group pioneers, my VA Rob, etc., if we show up to give value, what does that look like practically? We
Mm.
take all the information on your ideal client profile, we compare it to our prospects and our members. We then give you 5 introductions within 2 weeks of that that
Mm.
should make have a bottom line business impact that helps you generate more impact or more money, whatever your currency is.
Mm.
Um, but it will help you do that. So just to come back a step, like for us to create the right mirror, I wanted to provide direct value to each member as they onboard. And
Mm.
then hopefully, if all being well, and as we develop things, I'm certain we'll do this, we'll be able to do that ongoing, month on month on month on month, using the same techniques that we use in that initial instance.
Mm.
So, so as much as I could talk about AI and get really excited, I love tech. I could talk about AI all day. We could come on and do a 6-hour one on that, Sally.
Yeah.
But really, that's not the important thing. Is the reason I've invoked AI is because it can work at scale. So when we get to 400 members, I could input someone's name and details on their client, their business goals, their networking goals, and I can ask it to search my database and see who else is on the same path. And then I
Mm.
can bring those people together, right? Or who are the prospects that could act as partners or even clients
Yeah.
to that person and set that connection up, Um, I did that really to create the mirror more than I did to leverage AI, if that
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah, it
Like,
does. Yeah. I'm glad you said
um,
that.
yeah. So, so look, I don't need people. If people can't buy into the mirror principle, then buy into the fact that we give you 5 introductions in the first 6 weeks.
Yeah.
If they're not that impressed by that, then buy into the fact that no other networking groups do it, and no other networking groups are paying attention to them mirror games and the exchange of value and energy from the center to the periphery, if you will.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, we're back at the parasite mindset. So let's flip it into symbiosis. How do we as an entity become a symbiote for every business that interacts with us? And with that in place, and the philosophies mentioned before underpinning, we hope to create continual value that gives everyone confidence to do the same for their fellow networker. So that's
well said. Yeah, great.